Hello, comrades. We're all well aware of the various schools of Marxist thought, right? Marxism, Marxism-Leninism, Maoism, De Leonism, Jymee, and so on. One of the more prominent schools of thought, though, is Trotskyism, originating from Soviet traitor Leon Trotsky. That school actually has its own variant known as Posadism, developed by Juan Posadas. Posadism is a rather strange form of Trotskyism, but it has held some prominence in history. There were Posadists involved in the Cuban Revolution, there were Posadist parties all throughout South America, parts of Europe, and hell, there was even a Posadist party here in the United States at one point. And to top it all off, the Posadists had their own branch of the Trotskyist Fourth International. In the modern day, Posadism has practically lost all of its power since the death of J. Posadas in 1981. Many of the parties that were once active fell apart, and the Fourth International, the Posadist division at least, has devolved into only having 3 parties from Bolivia, Colombia, and Uruguay involved with it. It's estimated that there are only about maybe 1,000 actually active Posadists left in the world. So the question remains, is Posadism nothing more than an absurdity, or is it a legitimate variant of Marxian principle? And I've come to the conclusion that there is no legitimacy within this ideology, it's too much of a theoretical meme. Along with following the ideals of Trotsky, there are 2 majorly distinctive beliefs held by the Posadists: nuclear war and aliens. To start with, I'm going to cover the Trotskyist elements of Posadism because it's the actual foundation of Posadism. First off, it's a theory built off of Trotskyism, which is, already bullshit, so that kind of automatically adds to the absurdity of Posadism. One of the key factors of Trotsky's ideology is the concept of permanent revolution, which is honestly just another absurdity. The idea of a revolution being constant is far too idealistic to hold any actual practicality. A revolution is not something that can be held simultaneously throughout the entirety of the world. The material conditions of both individual nations and the world itself could never be to such a point where there could be any sort of permanent revolution in the world. That kind of thinking is just ultra-left, abandoning any actual sense of legitimacy. To quote Lenin,
"Uneven economic and political development is an absolute law of capitalism. Hence, the victory of socialism is possible first in several, or even in one capitalist country alone. After expropriating the capitalists and organizing their own socialist production, the victorious proletariat of that country will arise against the rest of the capitalist world, attracting to its cause the oppressed classes of other countries, stirring uprisings in those countries against the capitalists, and in case of need using even armed force against the exploiting classes and their states. The political form of a society wherein the proletariat is victorious in overthrowing the bourgeoisie will be a democratic republic, which will more and more concentrate the forces of the proletariat of a given nation or nations in the struggle against states that have not yet gone over to socialism. The abolition of classes is impossible without a dictatorship of the oppressed class of the proletariat. A free union of nations in socialism is impossible without a more or less prolonged and stubborn struggle of the socialist republics against the backward states." Lenin, on the slogan for a United States of Europe.
There. Now that we've covered the Trotskyist nonsense of this ideology, we can move on to the key components of Posadism itself, starting with nuclear war. Now this is the basic outlook of nuclear war held by the Posadists. They believe that nuclear war would be the catalyst for revolution to ensue. They don't just consider a nuclear holocaust to be something likely to happen, they view nuclear war as something desirable for the working class.
Nuclear war equals revolutionary war. It will damage humanity, but it cannot destroy the level of consciousness reached by it. Humanity will pass quickly through a nuclear war into a new human society, socialism. J. Posadas.
Posadas believed that in the midst of the nuclear terror, class consciousness would still survive and the working class would be able to re-emerge and build socialism. Now here's the problem with this. A nuclear bomb is a fucking destructive force, and it's not something that people are able to easily survive. I mean, for God's sake, we can just look at fucking Japan on this one. People were either killed instantly or left horribly fucking injured. And I don't mean with just broken bones and shit. Survivors suffered third-degree burns and radiation sickness. Posadas claimed that class consciousness would survive in the post-nuclear environment. And that very well may be the case, but it really wouldn't fucking matter anymore, because the only people who hold class consciousness would either be dead, or they'd be so injured that they would be in no position to uphold class consciousness and try to establish socialism. Secondly, one of the key elements of a revolution is that the proletariat will seize the means of production. That's a given. But here's the thing. Look at the damage that the atomic bomb did to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Look at all that shit. Buildings and vehicles of all sorts were reduced to rubble. It's likely that if another one of these atomic bombs were set off, we would get the same result. All of the factories, hospitals, restaurants, and whatever the hell else would be destroyed. Even if parts of the working class managed to survive, it wouldn't fucking matter because the means of production, an essential part of socialist revolution, would be gone. You can't have a proletarian revolution or establish socialism with no means of production, and you really can't do that if the proletariat are fucking dead or injured beyond help. This concept of nuclear war being the necessary catalyst for a communist revolution is completely idealistic. It completely ignores the reality of the material condition of the world. Now, on to the next idealistic view of Posadism. The basis of this concept is that alien technology would be evidence of advanced socialist societies, i.e., UFOs, and that we on Earth must call upon them to aid us in our struggle for revolution. For one, we have no fucking clue how alien life forms would view humanity. They could view us as a helpless species that truly requires their assistance, or they could see humans as worthless piles of shit that deserve to die because of their futility. Thinking that just because alien life forms would have advanced technology means that they would be willing to aid in the establishing of communism? That's both fucking crazy and highly idealist. Expanding upon that, advanced technology says nothing about the political and economic status of alien societies. We currently know absolutely nothing about the potential societies that these aliens may or may not be a part of. For all we know, these aliens could be completely beyond any concept of politics or economics that we as humans can comprehend. The entire structure of this concept is built completely on an assumption that Posad is probably made after fucking smoking salvia. It's bad enough that this theory is based off of Trotskyism, but the other core parts of it are completely idealist, and they don't take any consideration for the material conditions of both the current society and what the conditions would be after the blast of an atomic bomb. Posadism, as I said earlier in this video, holds no legitimacy as a branch of Marxian thought. The idealism and the complete disregard for material conditions of society make this theory nothing more than an absurdity. I'm Jymee Casual, fuck you and bye.